Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying Mylar bags. It's a double dry hopped India Pale Ale from Other Half Brewing Company out of Brooklyn, New York / Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing and hopefully enjoying. I've got Jay over there in his tie-dye shirt. I've got Andy in the attic, as always. He leaves every once in a while, only when we can get out and do brewery tours. I am Ben, and we are excited to bring you another beer review today. Before we get there, be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. And also check us out on social media. The links are below in the description. Gentlemen, what are we drinking today?
I'll take this one because you messed it up. Double dry hopped Mylar bags. It's an Imperial India Pale Ale.
Wait, are you saying I messed it up? Or Jay messed it up?
No, you messed it up totally.
I messed it up. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a DDH.
Yeah. Double dry hop Mylar bags, because there's a standard Mylar bags, but this takes it a step further by double dry hopping the Mylar bags.
And they even have a triple dry hop, but we don't want to confuse that here.
No
This is
digressions.
8.5% and 70 IBUs.
Yeah.
Let's crack it.
And it's gonna get open.
So, interestingly enough, before we, off camera, before we kind of get rolling here, we typically compare beer to make sure we've got the same thing. And one interesting thing that I was confused about is the fact that the writing on all of our cans is different. We all have a different color.
I got blue.
I got the pink, blue. Andy has green, I believe. So
yeah, it's kind of green.
Yeah, for a second, I think I was confused, thinking we had a different beer to review here, but
and the fourth is weighted in New Mexico.
Yeah, well, fortunately, they're all the same. So,
unfortunately, or fortunately,
fortunately.
But Ben, you forgot about the part before that when you're off camera, where you have to cry in front of us just to get it ready to go, getting your game face on, followed by your daily affirmations.
There will be a release of outtakes, if you will, at some point. So yeah. I don't know that you want to throw that out there quite yet, because if you remember, I'm the one that edits the video. You do not. So
yeah. Jay and I are like, no, Ben, you're good. You're going to have a great show. You're not a loser. You've got this.
I don't think there'll be any outtakes of me. I think they will be really of you guys, because,
that's what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Smells delicious.
Interesting. So this is now this is our second other half. Yeah.
Correct.
One thing, if I remember correctly, wasn't that other one was light like this, a similar color, right?
It was super, super haze.
Yeah. Yep. Like haze it almost looks like what's the fruit juice that's kind of a real, like a grapefruit juice kind of light color.
Or interesting. Pineapple or orange.
Well, so this is the double dry hopped Mylar bags. What's a Mylar bag? Mylar bag, well, you can kind of see it on the can. It's these kind of plasticky, silvery bags that you see a lot of food gets, perishable products even get stored in. It prevents contamination by light, moisture, or insects. And that's a Mylar bag. So maybe they're saying, oh, this is
what was the last one?
Insects.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you.
Oh, were you thinking prophylactics?
Yeah,
Is that what you were
it
thinking?
sounded like you
Yeah.
said
In
and
a
sex.
sense. Yeah. No sex gets through this bag.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I'm sorry, Ben's shirt was so distracting.
yeah. So the standard Mylar
Wait. This prevents insects. I have a bug now in my beer. I don't know if that can be seen as I spill a little bit, but
it's
yes,
out of the bag.
he is floating on top.
It's
I
out
don't
the
know if that's,
bag.
I think that's a false advertisement here.
That's a little protein, Ben. Come on.
Peter's going to shut us down now.
Yeah.
So the standard Mylar bags, it's hopped with Amarillo, Galaxy, Citra, Mosaic, and El Diablo hops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops. It's a lot of hops. So then the dry hopping comes into play after that. So again, we went into dry hopping before on the other half, but once the wort cools, then they add the other hops to help with the flavor and the aroma, and not so much the bitterness. So in their dry hopping, they use Citra and Mosaic lupulin powder. This is new to us. We have not gone over lupulin powder before. And then they add actually more Galaxy hops.
So this one, they identified which hops they're putting in on the second, versus some of their others, they just throw them all together.
All right. So lupulin is the powder that clings to the leaves and the flowers on a hop, on the actual plant.
Like in nature.
Yeah.
Natural. Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at it, there are little dots. It almost looks like pollen.
That's what I was going to say, similar to a pollen.
Yeah. And so it gives each hop that characteristic scent and flavor, and it adds it to the beer. And it contains acids and oils, and it's all for flavor. So the lupulin powder, it takes that lupulin and puts it in a concentrate, and that's the powder. And it's just a more efficient way of adding hops to beer.
Wow. So, cheers to lupulin nature.
Yeah. So, and this is the first time we've ever heard anything about this with all the IPAs we've done on this show. And they are numerous.
Right? We went, now that I recall, Brock's Gap.
Okay.
We discussed the lupulin, and I was like, oh, okay. That was before I knew what lupulin was. They, because we've heard it, those hops, but not as the powder, lupulin powder form.
Cool. Yeah. So awesome.
The first education on it.
That's really neat, Andy. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. I kind of mentioned this off camera again, and I want to mention it here. I don't know that for me, the can art is all that spectacular. I mean, I think it's the one interesting piece is we all have a different color, which is kind of cool. But I don't know that I could walk into a bottle shop or, a beer store. I don't know that I see this and I think I want to buy it, and I know that probably, I mean, it's marketing, right? How many cans have we seen? They're like, hey, this is an awesome can. It brings your attention to it. This is probably the least spectacular can I have ever seen. Or we have reviewed.
It's plastic bags.
It's nondescript, but
it's Mylar bags. These plastic bags. That's all it is.
To be fair, though, Ben, I mean, we didn't try the broccoli or the tomato factory or some of these others. The broccoli can has little pieces of broccoli all over it and different things. So I mean, they're very distinguishable. It just depends. I mean, other half their logo, as you saw, I mean, you've got it in pink and Andy has it in green. That's a very catchy logo, very similar to the infinity sign with the O and the H included in it. And they've been rated one of the top breweries on Untapped and others for their top IPAs across the country. Whether the marketing team's there or not.
Simple mind, simple palate.
I'm not in marketing, and yes, I have a simple palate. So is just I don't know that all I'm saying is if I'm looking at the mass of beer cans, and I would pick this up only because I have not had it before. So if you're like us and you like to try different beer, you like to see, as we've said before, you like to try to find the next great beer that you really enjoy. I mean, I'm eventually going to grab this, but my eyes are not drawn to this, I guess, is really what I'm thinking of. And I go back and think of Commodore Perry that we have reviewed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan. That's a work of art on the side of the can, right? Or you look at a spicy pickle monster, which not to spoil the review, was not my favorite beer, but I would buy that because of the can, right? And I'm going to try that. So I'm just saying, this is not. I don't know. I'm not. Obviously, these guys know what they're doing. They're brewing beer. I'm not. I'm doing a lame beer review show with you two guys. So this is, maybe I should just shut up. But at the end of the day, this is that's all I'm gonna say. I'll stop there.
It has ended, Ben.
Well, Ben rants.
It's all right. No, we're not cutting that.
No, cut that.
I'm gonna put that in. I'm not cutting it. I'm saying I'm done.
He's kind of like Dennis Miller, in the day when Ben goes on a rant, Dennis used to go on those big rants.
Yeah.
Same difference.
You sit and you watch.
I get it. So Ben likes the can art. I mean,
that's what's going to make him pick it up.
He wants that catchy, fragrant.
I was about to say, what hand are we talking about? Oh.
That's the can art hand.
He wants the can that draws him in. So
you will go to this when you've had everything else.
Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
See, and I'm quite the opposite. I'm intrigued by that. I'm like, oh, well, this is very unique and different. It's nondescript. They're not calling out. They're not having to go out and over and above, but find some artist to do something. But you're probably. I think you probably love some of the ones that we've had. I mean, Against the Green is a perfect example from Louisville. They have great can art. You remember Bo and Luke?
Yeah. That's art.
We'll just
hang out on a wall.
We're just saying other half does not have to put a bear in a swimsuit to sell beer.
And that's definitely, there's a point to that, right? They're obviously selling lots of beer, and they're doing it with nondescript cans, and there's something to be said for that, where we've had beer that has great can art that the beer is not so great. And hey, if that's what you have to do to sell the beer, then that's okay. So
there's one that I want to share with you guys. I haven't had the opportunity to yet, but there's a brewery out of Asheville. They're known for their can art, but they're also known for their beer, and it's a Burial Brewery, Burial Brewing, and they are fantastic. Their can art, their beer names, their beer, hands down, is one of my favorites. So hopefully we'll get to try that soon. But let's get back to the Mylar bag. So
I want to say one last thing. I don't think you have to have great can art to get me to buy the beer. I mean, I've bought a lot of beer that have great can art. There's not much to this, so that's only the reason I mention it, right? We've had a lot of, I've got other beers behind me that, there's no can art or bottle art that's fantastic, right? It's just
you're just superficial. You just want
something.
Be prettier.
I'm okay.
You shallow chauvinist pig.
Hey, just unprofessional and somewhat biased.
Yeah.
All right. Let's rate this one. Jay, I assume this is going to be like a 35-minute episode. Jay, I assume you've had this one.
I've had it. I just don't remember rating it. So yeah, but you guys go ahead because I have had a lot of other half.
All right.
I'll go. I'm tired of hearing you. So
I'm tired of talking.
Yeah. I'm assuming we're going to air this episode after the Double Dry Hop Green City. I think they're very similar to me, but this one is a step above. It's got that more of that juice and that haze pop, and it's more IBUs. But again, they I think they put more into the dry hopping to bring the bitterness down, add more of that flavor. There is hop flavor, but not a lot of bitterness. And I'm going to rate it a little bit higher. I like this. and it doesn't feel, it's an Imperial, but it doesn't feel heavy to me. And I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to step up. That's a great one. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, sir.
Yeah. So, we had the other half, Green City previously. And, I think for me, the first sip I took of this, I was like, there was just something there I didn't really like. And as I've taken a couple more sips, it's actually gotten a lot better and a lot better and a lot better. I think I agree with you, Andy. I think it's definitely better because it's the hazier piece of it comes through a lot more so than the last beer, and it's better than the Green City to me as well. I'm going to go 8. I actually like this one and would love to have it again. I think probably now I'm just on a mission to collect the different color can writing.
I'll save it for you
because I do actually keep all the cans and bottles that we have here for the show. But yeah, an 8 for me, which IPA, hey,
that's the big time rating for me.
That's like a 9.8 on an IPA scale for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was thrilled when I walked into the other half Washington D.C. tap room. They had 20 beers on tap, and 15 of them were IPAs, and I just was starstruck. I had a good time there, and I enjoyed picking up these beers for us to try. I tried to pick some that were more of the ones that were more mainstream, so that we could get those out there and review them for people that might have it in Brooklyn or DC or otherwise, and ones that are distributed rather than some of the ones that were limited. It's a great beer, like Andy and Ben both said. I think it is lighter than the other, in my opinion. I think Green City to me was a little heavy. We don't do a beer comparison, but nice hazy, not as thick. Got some tropical notes going with it, not bitter. Really enjoy it. It's another solid 8.5 for me. Close pushing that 9, but I got to go 8.5.
That will give us an 8.3 for the Mylar bags. Double dry hopped Imperial India Pale Ale from Other Half Brewing Company. Really great IPA, DDH Imperial IPA with really not too fantastic count. So
cheers, mates.
The beer is really good. If you spot this unassuming can at your bottle shop or wherever you buy beer, be sure to grab it. It is a really great beer.
Bags. That's all it is. Plastic bags. It's crap.
Plastic bags.
Don't judge it.
Apparently it attracts insects because I had one in my. So
no, it's a Mylar bag. It repels insects.
So you say.
The bag,
that's from the beer bottles behind you, Ben.
Yeah,
those fruit flies.
How many of these shows have we done? This is the first insect I've ever had in my beer on Hopped Up Beer Review.
It knows a good beer.
Just saying, maybe it was the unimpressive can art that made that,
or maybe it knows it's a good
kamikaze. Beer. Maybe that could be it too.
Right, man.
Yeah. For Jay and Andy in the attic, hey, check us out on social media. Like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. Be sure to spay and neuter your pets.
Bob Barker.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers.